Hello, welcome to Better English in Tacoma. My name is Linda, and in today's Listening Comprehension video, we're going to read two different versions of a story from the Old Testament. The first will be narrative prose taken from the book of 1 Kings. The second will be a poetry version of the same account, and that will be taken from a book called A Pillar of Pepper, written by John Knapp II. I'd like to give you a little bit of background first to help you understand the story. Ahab was a king of Israel, and his wife, Queen Jezebel, had introduced worship of the false god Baal to the Israelites. Elijah was a prophet of God who proclaimed that God would cause a drought in the land because of this false worship. In the third year of the drought, God sent Elijah to confront King Ahab about the idolatry. So now we'll pick up the story in 1 Kings chapter 18, verses 17 through 39. When Ahab saw Elijah, he said, "So there you are, the worst troublemaker in Israel." "I am not the troublemaker," Elijah answered. "You are, you and your father. You are disobeying the Lord's commands and worshiping the idols of Baal. Now order all of the people of Israel to meet me at Mount Carmel. Bring along the 450 prophets of Baal and the 400 prophets of the goddess Asherah, who are supported by Queen Jezebel." So Ahab summoned all the Israelites and the prophets of Baal to meet at Mount Carmel. Elijah went up to the people and said, "How much longer will it take you to make up your minds? If the Lord is God, worship him. But if Baal is God, worship him." But the people didn't say a word. Then Elijah said, "I am the only prophet of the Lord still left, but there are 450 prophets of Baal. Bring 2 bulls. Let the prophets of Baal take one, kill it, cut it in pieces, and put it on the wood, but don't light the fire. I will do the same with the other bull. Then let the prophets of Baal pray to their God, and I will pray to the Lord, and the one who answers by sending fire, he is God." The people shouted their approval. Then Elijah said to the prophets of Baal, "Since there are so many of you, you take a bull and prepare it first. Pray to your God, but don't set fire to the wood." They took the bull that was brought to them, prepared it, and prayed to Baal until noon. They shouted, "Answer us, Baal," and kept dancing around the altar they had built. But no answer came. At noon, Elijah started making fun of them. "Pray louder. He is a god. Maybe he is daydreaming or relieving himself, or perhaps he's gone off on a trip. Or maybe he's sleeping and you've got to wake him up." So the prophets prayed louder and cut themselves with knives and daggers according to their ritual until blood flowed. They kept on ranting and raving until the middle of the afternoon, but no answer came. Not a sound was heard. Then Elijah said to the people, "Come closer to me," and they all gathered around him. He set about repairing the altar of the Lord, which had been torn down. He took 12 stones, one for each of the 12 tribes named for the sons of Jacob, the man to whom the Lord had given the name Israel. With these stones, he rebuilt the altar for the worship of the Lord. He dug a trench around it, large enough to hold about 4 gallons of water. Then he placed wood on the altar, cut the bull in pieces, and laid it on the wood. He said, "Fill the 4 jars with water and pour it on the offering and the wood." They did so, and he said, "Do it again." And they did. "Do it once more," he said, and they did. The water ran down around the altar and filled the trench. At the hour of the afternoon sacrifice, the prophet Elijah approached the altar and prayed, "O Lord, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, prove now that you are the God of Israel, and that I am your servant, and have done all this at your command. Answer me, Lord, answer me, so that this people will know that you, the Lord, are God, and that you are bringing them back to yourself. The Lord sent fire down, and it burned up the sacrifice, the wood, and the stones, scorched the earth, and dried up the water in the trench. When the people saw this, they threw themselves on the ground and exclaimed, "The Lord is God. The Lord alone is God." And now I'd like to read a poetry version of the same story. This is from a book called A Pillar of Pepper and Other Bible Rhymes. It's written by John Knapp II. Elijah and the Prophets of Baal. Testing the Lord, God's chosen people begin to turn toward the prophets of Baal, prophets of evil who only can fail. Cooler than ice, the prophets of Baal put a sacrifice on an altar of stone, to prove to the people Baal is God alone. Jumping and prancing, hundreds of prophets are shouting and dancing. From sunrise at 7 to way past 11, begging old Baal to send fire from heaven. Look at them leap as they wail and they weep. Elijah then laughs. Could Baal be asleep? Can't you inspire your God to send fire? For if Baal refuses, he looks like a liar. But there isn't a spark, not even a spark, as the prophets of Baal dance into the dark. Give Elijah a turn, the grumbling people want something to burn. So Elijah alone, builds quickly an altar, stone upon stone. And next comes the wood, kindling wood, to lie under the sacrifice just where it should. Now jugs of water, bring jugs of water, soak, says Elijah, God's holy altar. With never a doubt, not one single doubt, Elijah now cries to the Lord with a shout. Lord, if you choose, proclaim now the news that only Jehovah is God of the Jews. Then to the wonder, amazement of all, down from the heavens fire does fall, licking up sacrifice, both meat and bones, burning up wood and even the stones, boiling water into scalding steam, till the altar now isn't, just like a dream. When Israel saw such almighty power, their faith in old Baal went suddenly sour. They begged God's forgiveness when everything burned, and back to Jehovah his people returned. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day, and we look forward to seeing you again on Better English in Tacoma.